The New York Giants are now all of a sudden in a very interesting spot for the upcoming draft. For pretty much the whole entire offseason, the question was, would Shedeur Sanders be available at 3? Because the Giants did not have a QB, but now all of a sudden, the question is, who will be available, Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter? I'm not saying the Giants' QB situation is solved, but they have their guys in place for 2025. It seems like they are going to wait until next year's offseason and draft to decide what they want to do for the long term in that position. But in this year's draft, the Giants now have a chance to make their defense dominant. Getting Abdul Carter would make the D-line a force to be reckoned with, and then on the other side of things, if Carter gets selected by the Browns, which seems to be a common trend in mock drafts, then that means Travis Hunter is a Giant. And in terms of fit, he could be the best pick because of the flexibility with him being able to play both corner and receiver. It is expected that he will primarily play defense in the NFL, but still, even if he can just come in every now and then on third downs, then that will help Malik Neighbors out so much. So right now, I think the third pick for the Giants is down to Carter or Hunter, and I want to talk about what each of them can bring, and I of course want to cover all 7 rounds if I can, and what I think the Giants should do. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so starting off talking about Abdul Carter, one kind of setback that could potentially make the Browns want to go the Hunter route instead of him is the recent injury and surgery potential, although news has come out that his foot is healing. But I think just in terms of raw talent and dominance, he might be the best player in the draft. He excels as a speed rusher with elite quickness and explosiveness off the edge. His ability to anticipate snaps and outpace offensive tackles has drawn comparisons to successful pass rushers like Odafe Owe and Chop Robinson, but I think he's going to be way better than both those guys. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Scouts continue to praise his polished pass rushing techniques, including rip and dip moves, which allow him to consistently pressure quarterbacks. His relentless motor ensures he remains effective late in downs, making him a disruptive force both against the pass and the run. Carter's versatility is another key asset. He can operate as an edge rusher, blitz from the middle, or drop into coverage as a linebacker. His athleticism enables him to cover tight ends, running backs, and slot receivers in short zones, while also excelling in sideline-to-sideline run defense. And additionally, his instincts and football IQ allow him to diagnose plays quickly, positioning himself effectively to make tackles or disrupt passes. So that is kind of the write-up on him, and again, I can't imagine how good the Giants D-line would be when you pair him next to a guy like Dexter Lawrence. Now for the Travis Hunter side of things, I think everyone knows the write-up on him because he might have been the most popular player in college football last year. And I don't even know if might is the right word to use here because he was, and it's not really a debate. In terms of defense, Hunter is an elite man-to-man defender with exceptional ball skills, route recognition, and physicality. He thrives in press coverage and has a knack for creating turnovers, evidenced by his 36 tackles, 11 passes defended, and 4 interceptions in 2024, and even the fact that he can jump off his own route to disrupt a play in a different zone. His ability to jump into and disrupt passing lanes and his aggressive play style are highly valued in NFL schemes, emphasizing press man coverage. On offense, Hunter's explosiveness is equally impressive. He caught 96 passes for 1,258 yards and 15 touchdowns last season, earning the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver. His quickness, route running precision, and ability to make contested catches allow him to dominate against defenders. But I think we all know he is going to have to sacrifice some of those numbers in the NFL because it is just a different level of physicality, and it will take a whole nother level of energy to play on both sides of the ball. I just don't think it's physically possible. But like I said, if he can come in every now and then on third downs or even like second and long, that is a lot of value being added. Alright, now to finally move on from the third pick, let's take a look at what the Giants should and could do with their later round picks. So at pick 34, this is the pick I think the Giants should make if they end up drafting Travis Hunter. I like Derek Harmon out of Oregon. As an Ohio State fan, I know a lot about this dude, and he is a beast, and that is putting it lightly. He is 6'4" and 313 pounds. He had 5 sacks and 11 tackles last season. He's a guy with a quick first step that can give you a lot of juice, and he's really good laterally, and he's great at covering gaps and stopping the run. Obviously, he's not Abdul Carter, but if you add him alongside Lawrence with having Hunter at corner, that could be even better than drafting Carter and doing something else in the second round. But if the Giants do draft Carter, obviously Harmon is not the pick, so in that case, I really like Emeka Egbuka. Maybe my Ohio State bias is kicking in, but I think he is super polished and is NFL ready, and I think what he did at Ohio State was very undervalued. But if the Giants don't get Hunter, I would love to see Ibuka paired next to Malik Neighbors. I think even in year 1, he could thrive because he's used to being a number 2 target. He did it for pretty much his entire career at Ohio State, especially last season with Jeremiah Smith. At Ohio State in 2024, he finished with just over 1,000 yards with 10 touchdowns on 81 receptions. Here's the official write-up on him. Ibuka's nuanced footwork, tempo, variations, and ability to sell double moves make him a separator against both man and zone coverage. He excels on outbreaking routes and shows advanced spatial awareness, particularly from the slot, where he ran 81% of his routes in 2024. Now moving on to the 3rd round, I think the Giants could add yet another defensive lineman. I really like the upside of Shedeur Turner. He finished last season with 36 tackles and 2 sacks and a forced fumble. He consistently disrupts gaps with sudden acceleration off the snap, creating early penetration. He has relentless pursuit through whistles, with scouts praising his end of the echo effort and contact-seeking demeanor. And he anchors gaps effectively with a strong base, though consistency against double teams needs some refinement, but he can work on that with top-of-the-line NFL coaching. Now moving on to the comp pick at number 99, I want to shake things up here. How about Jalen Milroe? I think this is the appropriate time to take him. I know everyone kind of cringes when his name comes up in terms of draft talks, and I'm not sure why the notion on him is so bad, because I think he has a very, very high ceiling. Does he have a lot of bust potential? Could he be a complete waste of a pick? Absolutely. But why not get a guy with so much arm talent and so much upside right here? And then if the Russell Wilson experiment collapses in like week 8, the Giants have somewhere to turn instead of putting Winston in. But that is just my thinking. I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Now I want to pick 105. I like the Giants taking a corner to add some depth there, and I like Dorian Strong out of Virginia Tech. He had 2 interceptions and a forced fumble last season, and again, at this point in the draft, you are just taking the best available at positions of need, and rounds 5 through 7 are just complete toss-ups and are impossible to predict. I think the Giants are in a really exciting spot right now. I know fans are tired of waiting for things to turn around, but this is the first time where it kind of feels like an actual plan is in place. Maybe I'm wrong, but Joe Schoen has a good track record in the draft, and he needs to find some gems this year. That's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you agreed with and what you disagreed with in the comments below. I know it is a complete toss-up for some of these picks. I could be completely wrong. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. And if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.